Welcome to the Botch Squad podcast, everybody. I am your host, GeneTheMan94, here to review Monday Night Raw for April 11th, 2016. They were in Los Angeles tonight. The review would have been up sooner, but last night when I got off work, I noticed that Raw didn't tape, so I had to watch it today. But nonetheless, you're still getting the review, so everything's all good. So we kick off Raw. And Shane McMahon comes out. They announced on Twitter that he will be in charge of Raw again tonight because of the overwhelming support from social media about the job he did last week. So Shane comes out. He thanks the crowd for all their support and whatever, and that's why he's back this week. And he wants to continue the matchups and opportunities, the new matchups. So he sets up Natayla versus Charlotte for the Women's Championship tonight, and last night. You get what I mean, tonight. And he sets up a tag team tournament for the tag team championship number one contendership. And also Sami Zayn gets an opportunity because he was put out of the Fatal 4-Way last week by Kevin Owens to face AJ Styles. And if he beats him, the match between AJ and Roman turns into a triple threat match at Payback. So Kevin Owens didn't particularly like that, so he came out and interrupted him. And he said it's good that this might be his last night in control of Raw because he thinks Sami Zayn doesn't deserve that opportunity. He thinks he deserves it. He said you probably knocked a couple screws loose when you jumped off that cell. If you think Sami deserves this. And Shane tells him, you had your opportunity, but you lost in the Fatal 4-Way and at WrestleMania. And Owens was like, no, I was screwed and I wasn't pinned last week. And he demanded a rematch for the Intercontinental title. Shane tells him that's not how this works anymore, and if he can beat Cesaro, he can face The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. So Cesaro comes out, and he had a nice little entrance. Like, his little background was like a James Bond type thing, and they have the little James Bond circle following him, and then he still does the old suit rip-off gimmick, and it was pretty sweet. So they started off Raw with a number one contendership for the IC title. Incredible match by these two. These two, of course, they're two of the best that are in the WWE right now, and they put on a hell of a match, back and forth. Owens targeting the shoulder of Cesaro that was repaired, and of course Cesaro showing his resiliency that even though he came back from injury, he can still come back stronger than ever. And he was pretty much overcoming Owens the whole match, and he countered a pop-up powerbomb and hit the neutralizer. But me saying it does this match no justice because this match was just incredible to watch. It was great. This was a great Raw, in my opinion. So, he countered the pop-up powerbomb into the neutralizer, and he picked up the victory over Owens. So that was sweet. Great match. The crowd was into it. So Cesaro is your new number one contender for the IC title. I'm guessing that match will happen at Payback as well. So Charlotte's backstage, complaining that she has to defend her title 8 days after WrestleMania. And Rick says if the Authority was involved and was running Raw, she'd be on vacation right now. So Dr. Phil pops up. And he says, you're hardworking and you're committed and, you have a great bond with your father, but he's holding you back. He's stifling you. He's corrupting you. You got to use these cheating tactics to win, and it's just not a good look for you. You're great enough on your own. You don't need Ric Flair. And Charlotte was ticked off, like, who are you to tell me that I don't need to have my father by my side? And he said, you need to stop this cheating. You need to just win the right way instead of being Ric Flair, pretty much is what he was saying. So Ric Flair, after Charlotte walked away because she was angry, he went to go woo in front of Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil out-wooed him. It was funny. Whatever. Cool. That happened. So Owens is backstage complaining to Shane once again and says, he's been screwed once again. And, what happens to Sami Zayn tonight is on Shane's hair. Shane didn't like that too much. And he was like, you're not going to threaten me or Sami Zayn. So hit the lockers. You're going to be escorted out of the building. That's it. You're done for the night. So, Shane was fired up, from being threatened. Shane put the hands to Kevin Owens. You better watch out. The New Day come out to talk about the tag team tournament. The crowd is still hot for New Day, of course. They're like crazy over right now. Of course, the crowd was still doing their chants and, New Day rocks and WWE World Tag Team Champions. They did all of it. It was sweet. And they were talking about the tournament and, seeing who deserved to win the tournament to face them. They didn't think anybody, of course, because it didn't matter to them. Whoever wins still isn't going to beat them, in their opinion. So that's pretty cool. And they said the tournament is sponsored by Bootios. They make sure you ain't booty. And it was hilarious because the tournament bracket was actually like New Day themed with like the rainbows and unicorns and the Bootios cereal. And it's really sponsored by Bootios. It was hilarious. And the first matchup of the tournament was the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudleys. Now, a little bit into the match, it looked like Kalisto took a bad bump outside the ring. Maybe hurt his shoulder or something. Terrible. I hope he's not hurt. I hope it was just like storyline. I hope he's not seriously hurt or anything. But after that, the Dudleys pretty much decimated Sin Cara and they advanced in the tournament. And after they won, it looked like they botched the 3D at first. That was hilarious, but they got it together and won. Enzo and Cass came out after it. The crowd is also hot for them too. They're incredibly over already, and they haven't even wrestled on the main roster yet. They were coming out, did their whole gimmick and whatever, and the Dudleys was like, we paved the way for you. The only reason you guys exist is because of the Dudley boys. And Enzo, hilariously, he was like, because Devon said, he was like, Devin? He called him Devin. I was dead. He called him Devin. He was like, well, the reason we're here, or at least me, is because, my parents kind of got it on, but that's besides the point. It was hilarious. I was dying laughing. And Cass said, if you guys paid the way, you guys need to move out the way because we're coming through with a jackhammer. So, step aside. And they did the whole SAWFT gimmick, and the crowd loved it. They ate it up. It was awesome. So, these two are probably going to face off in the tournament. And yeah, that'll be sweet. So they show Owens being escorted out the building by security. And that's all for Owens for tonight. Roman Reigns comes out. You can hear people cheering him, but you can also hear the boos. I think WWE is still playing with the volume of the crowd because the sound, to me, sounded weird all night long. It was just, whatever they were doing with that was whatever. But he came out, and I love what Reigns is doing, man. It's just hilarious. He's making fun of the crowd, and they're feeding right into it. He came out and said once again, he's not a bad guy and he's not a good guy. He's the guy. And I love that because it's just like a shot at the crowd. Like, here, I'm champion and there's nothing you can do about it. So hold this L. And he says he plans on staying champ for a long time. Says he's got he was talking about AJ Styles. He respects him, but he's not going to lose his championship to him at Payback. And, Sami Zayn might become an added member if AJ happens to lose tonight. So after that, the League of Nations came out. Sheamus says, you're pretty confident, but would you be confident if you had to face one of the lads for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Reigns was like, am I supposed to be nervous or something? Like, playing them off like they're not even a threat to him. And I love that he keeps doing that because that's what he's supposed to do. He's a damn powerhouse. He's not supposed to be afraid of anybody. And Sheamus said, nervous or not, we're stronger than ever since we kicked Barrett out. And then Rusev took the mic and was like, if you're the guy, then I'm the man. I'm bigger than you, stronger than you, and I'm better looking. I should be the face of the WWE. And it was hilarious, man. I was dying laughing. Rusev is hilarious. I love Rusev. Oh, man. Reigns was like, no, you're the ass of the WWE. So they came down to the ring to attack Roman Reigns, and who the hell comes out to help him? The Wyatt family. Yeah, that was weird. The Wyatts came out to help Roman Reigns. Why? I guess they're face now. So, they get rid of the League of Nations, of course, because they were kicking Reigns' ass for a minute. And then, it was just weird. It was like Reigns and Bray Wyatt were just like staring at each other. And then Shane McMahon came out and made the main event. He said, I want to see some more of this teaming up of you guys. So he made Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt team up to face Sheamus and Del Rio in the main event. Pretty good main event. I was excited for it when he announced it. So, we saw later on what happened, and I enjoyed it, but we'll get to that in a minute. Very interesting segment here. They've been doing these Primo and Epico promos about flowers in Puerto Rico, and I don't know why. Like, I guess they repackaged them back to Primo and Epico, whatever. I don't know what they're doing with them, but wasn't really. I don't really care. Dr. Phil comes out for the WWE Women's Championship match between Charlotte and Natayla, and this match right here, this was a great match by these two women. I can't stress that enough, because this is the new women's division, and it's awesome because they're going out and they're putting on these matches and they're showing why they should be taken seriously. They're no longer a pee break. These two put on a great match, just like they did at Roadblock. Technical match between these two. These two are, submission specialists, and, they'll wear you down in any way possible to get their submissions off. And it kind of looked like Natalya was going to win for a minute, even though I knew they weren't going to take the title off Charlotte yet. But, Dr. Phil was watching, hoping Charlotte wouldn't use her cheating tactics, but of course she did. Charlotte was tapping out to the sharpshooter, but before the ref saw it, he was dragged out of the ring by Ric Flair, meaning that Charlotte was disqualified instead of losing by tap out, because she was tapping, but the ref didn't see it, of course, because he got dragged out of the ring by Ric Flair. So Charlotte lost by disqualification, but she kept her women's championship. And Dr. Phil is just over there by the announce table, just shaking his head like, I told you not to do this, and you did it anyway. And then he went on to say how proud he is of the women's division and what these ladies are doing and how they're putting themselves on the map once again. And it was cool. It was a great match, though. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. And this women's division, I hope they incorporate more people into it. Even when Nikki Bella comes back, I hope they just all put on great matches, and I'm very excited for it. Emma's up on the main roster, and it should be great. It should be really, really great, and I'm excited. So after that, Sami Zayn backstage talking about his big opportunity. Says he's always been the underdog from the underground all his life. And AJ comes and interrupts him and says, he agrees. They were fighting side by side all those years and, fighting for the same thing. And now they're both in the WWE, except he's the number one contender and Sami Zayn isn't. So, that match. We'll talk about that match in a minute. But, the next match was another tag team tournament match. The Usos versus the Social Outcasts. Nothing really much to talk about for the match. But after the match, the Usos won, of course. They're not going to lose to the Social Outcasts. But after that, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson from the Bullet Club debuted. And I didn't even see that coming. I knew they were backstage at Raw, but I didn't know if they were going to come out or if they did win. This was sweet. They came out and pretty much destroyed the Usos. Hit their double team move. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the magic trick or something. Something like that. I'll remember it soon. But it was pretty sweet. They destroyed the Usos and then they left. Cool. They're on the main roster now. They debuted. Awesome. I'm loving this. The Miz and Maurice backstage. Pretty much Maurice is burying the people that have the food for the Miz and saying that he only drinks German water or something, not domestic water, and all this other stuff. And then JoJo comes in to ask him about Cesaro. And he says, if he's Swiss Superman, then he's the Kryptonite. Cesaro's over there in the corner, like, just lurking in the shadows. He said he's trying to look at the leading man for the part he's going to take as IC champion. And he's going to roll out the red carpet for his uppercuts. Just for the Miz or whatever. So, I hope that match is good. Cesaro's great. The Miz is a great heel. I got to give him heel credit. Because he makes people hate him. People genuinely hate him, which they're supposed to do with heels. You're not supposed to like the heels. Miz does a good job of that. I'm sorry, but he does. I know a lot of people don't like the Miz, but that's the point. He's a heel. AJ Styles versus Sami freaking Zayn. Match of the night, and there were some great matches tonight. But this was match of the night for me. Fantastic match by these two. They left it all out there. This was like they were fighting for a spot on the main roster in the Indies. That's what it felt like. These two went back and forth, and you didn't know who was gonna win. Sami Zayn, man, I gotta give him a lot of credit, because over the past couple of weeks, months, he has been putting on some incredible matches. The match with Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas, the ladder match at Mania. Sami Zayn is just going all out, and it's like he was already good, but he's great. And of course, AJ Styles is great. He's been great for the longest, and this was just a dream match I wanted to see in WWE. And it did not disappoint whatsoever. The crowd was into it. These two were into it. Oh my goodness. There were so many, close pinfalls and close submissions. And these two, man, they tore each other up. It was great to see. Sami almost hit the haluva kick on AJ, but AJ countered and hit the phenomenal forearm, which I'm guessing is one of his finishing moves now, because that's how he won. He won with the phenomenal forearm, but woo, the crowd was hot for this match. They were really, really hot. After it, backstage, when they came back from commercial, Shane actually came up to them and thanked both of them for the match and said how everyone enjoyed it, and, they shook hands and showed respect to each other. But, man, that was a great match. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The next segment was pretty hilarious. Chris Jericho had his highlight reel, and he said he had a very special guest, so he goes out there, and his special guest is himself. He pretty much put himself over. Talking about, he's the first undisputed champion, and he's a surefire Hall of Famer, and he's won multiple championships, and he's the best in the world at what he does. And he's pretty much like having a conversation with himself about why he's so great, and nobody else deserves to face him. Nobody on the roster at all. And out comes Dean Ambrose, and it looks like he's holding a plant and a sign. And so he gets in the ring, and he says, this show is now hijacked. Shane McMahon said it's canceled. Here's the memo. He handed him the memo, and Jericho's like, wait, this is a speeding ticket. And Ambrose was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's been a long night. And the crowd loved it. They laughed. And he handed him a memo from Shane McMahon saying that the highlight reel was canceled. Dean took the plant that Jericho had and moved it out the way and put his own plant, and then he put a sign that said Ambrose Asylum. He was like, and then he put on like a fake like clip-on tie. He was like, is my tie on straight? I've never hosted a show before, and it was just hilarious. Dean Ambrose is freaking hilarious, man. Oh man, this was a funny segment. I really enjoyed it. Jericho was just like, dude, look at me when I'm talking to you. You're not going to come out here and take over my show. And Dean Ambrose ain't having it. He's just, he's like, yeah, Jericho, you're my first guest. Welcome to the Ambrose Asylum. What's up with that scarf you have on? And Jericho was just like, dude, don't interrupt me because I interrupted you on Smackdown for your victory, whatever, celebration. I've reached legendary status and I can do whatever I want when I want. There are no rules, no repercussions for anything. I'm the best at what I do. And Dean wasn't even looking at him. He was just playing him off. He was like, look at me when I'm talking to you, boy. And that caught Dean's attention. He looked directly at him. And he was like, make a smart decision for the first time in your life and leave. Get out of my ring. This is my show. You're not going to hijack it. Dean wasn't having none of that. He pretty much no-sold him and was like, so you going to tell us about that scarf? And Jericho got mad and slapped the mic out of his hand. And Dean hit dirty deeds on him, and Jericho just leaves. Yeah, that was pretty much it. He was like, thank you guys for coming to the Ambrose Asylum. And it was freaking funny. Dean Ambrose is a comedian. After that, R-Truth is backstage with Goldust because they have a tag team tournament match. They're advertised for the tag team tournament on SmackDown. And Goldust is pissed. He's like, dude, I thought you said you were gonna have an audition to be a tag team partner for me. We're not partners yet. And R-Truth was like, that is the audition. We're in the tournament. And he was like, Goldust was like, whose idea was this anyway? And Dr. Phil is over there in the corner of the locker room, and he looked like he was going to say something. He just raised his finger and was just like, never mind, and didn't say anything and just walked away. Goldust was just like, what? I thought you were going to say, no, you're not going to say nothing? Oh, okay, cool, all right. Whatever, man, whatever. And next match was Apollo Crews versus Adam Rose. They've been pretty much hyping up Crews and, showing off what he did at NXT and showing off his athleticism. So he pretty much came out and beat Adam Rose with ease. He hit the spin out, sit out power bomb, which I love that finisher. It's just, whoo, he's already like really built. So it just shows off his athleticism even more with that move. Bray Wyatt, before the tag team match, dropped a little promo. Says, even though we're mortal enemies, Reigns, I got your back tonight. Don't worry, you can trust me. He said it with like a little smile on his face. So The main event match was Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio versus Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Yep, I said it. Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt on the same team. And for those who don't know, these two were in a rivalry together for the longest time, and it culminated at I think it was Hell in a Cell, when Reigns came out on top. Bray hasn't really won any damn rivalries he's been in. He always comes out in the losing end, and I don't really like that. He's such a great talent, and the Wyatt family is great, but they don't know how to book him. Even Bray said it on Sam Roberts' podcast. They don't know how to book the Wyatts. But this main event match, I really enjoyed this too. This is, like I said, this was a great Raw all around for me. This was a great match. Bray starts off the match by telling Reigns, get out the ring, I got this. He's even sitting on the ropes holding him for him to get out the ring. So Bray started off the match with Sheamus, and he started aggressively beating him up, and got him into the corner and aggressively tagged Roman Reigns in. And then they looked at each other when Reigns got in. Then they started double teaming Sheamus, and it was great. These two looked like a great team, even though they didn't trust each other, and it was sweet. So then Reigns in for a couple seconds, and then Bray tags himself back in, and Reigns didn't like that, of course, but after that, the League of Nations started taking over, and Del Rio and Sheamus got to working on Bray Wyatt. Eventually Bray got the upper hand and tagged Reigns in. He came in cleaning house, looking like the badass that he is, pulling no punches. They took the fight to the outside, and then Reigns eventually fell victim to the double team of Sheamus and Del Rio, and Rusev yelling at him or whatever. Del Rio's kicks, man, he kicked Reigns in the side while Sheamus was doing the little 12 beats of the battalion or whatever it's called. And, man, you can just hear it every time. It's just like, damn, Del Rio, hold up, man. You're going to kill somebody with them feet. Man, that was crazy. And, Bray winded up getting the hot tag in the match. It looked like he was hesitating for a second. Reigns was crawling over to the corner to get the hot tag into Bray. And Bray looked like he was about to step back and just let Reigns get destroyed. But he eventually, tagged him in and whatever, got in. Reigns out on the outside has tried to hit the Superman punch off the steel steps, and Sheamus countered that. And then while the ref was distracted, Rusev hit Bray, and Bray almost lost to the backstabber to Del Rio. After that, the Wyatt family music hit, and Rowan and Strowman came out and just got Rusev out of there. Just no, you're not about to keep doing this. And Bray hit Sister Abigail on Del Rio, and Roman speared Sheamus, and they both win. They won the tag team match. They were able to put their differences aside for a little bit, and had a great match with the League of Nations. It was really good main event. 2 back-to-back good main events on Raw, and that's what we need. We need great main events. We need different people in the main event from time to time, and different matches and whatever. This was a different match. You wouldn't have expected Roman Reigns to team up with Bray Wyatt any other time. You wouldn't have expected that. This is good. It's different. That's what we want. We want different. We want a great match, and that's what we got. Afterwards, they were holding up their hands or whatever, and Bray and Roman are having a stare down, possibly setting up another feud in the future. But for now, I don't know. I guess they're okay with each other. Great main event and a great way to end Raw. I guess the League of Nations is about to feud with the Wyatts, but I myself thoroughly enjoyed Raw. I wonder how you guys felt about it. Leave a comment down in the comment section below on how you felt. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like. And I'll talk to you guys later this week. I got a couple videos I'm going to put out, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Alright, see you guys later. Peace. Peace. Peace.